How you doing, good brother?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Today we got another one of the good coaches around Baltimore City and around the state of Maryland. Coach, we want you to introduce yourself and your program to the world.
Okay. My name is Donald Thomas. I'm the head basketball coach at Poly High School. Also help out in the summertime with Team Thrill on the Under Armour circuit.
Okay. Okay. Glad that you can make it today, Coach. Appreciate you for being here. One of my good buddies from way back. I want to give a little introduction for myself to you. So, I kind of knew you before I knew you,
Yeah.
right? We were some little kids, and I knew of you from your brother, right? He used to come around my area, around my neighborhood. He used to play. I used to see him. I was a little kid, and I draw to him, right? He used to tell me like, yeah, I got a little brother, little Donald, whatever. So he was kind of like a big brother to me at the time. So when he kind of told me about his little brother, when I seen you, then I kind of felt like that's my little brother.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? So I kind of felt like, when I seen you, I felt the need to protect you, when you came around my neighborhood, because I know you was new to the neighborhood. You know how this Baltimore City,
For sure.
coming is, somebody might try to bring some harm to you, or, I just felt the need to protect you at all costs. Now, it never came to that,
Yeah.
I mean, at any time, but I always felt that need, like I said, as a young man. So that was my introduction to you. You was my little brother before I even knew you. So fast forward a little bit on to actually getting to meet you and be around you. You always was a humble young fella. Even to this day, I think you're a real humble guy, man. I got a lot of respect for you. As a juvenile, you was, well disciplined, well trained, Shout out to your parents. They did a great job with you, and even now, you soaring to, heights, great heights, on the coaching level. I want to, I ain't gonna talk too much. I want to get into some of the young little Donna.
Yeah.
Right? So, let everybody know, when did you, first fall in love with this game that you coach and you've been doing it, so well with for so long?
I say I fell in love with it before I even started playing organized basketball, right? Because you got to think about it. Before my older brother brought me up John E., I just used to play outside, you know what I'm saying, up the four courts, Poplar Grove. So I say about 9, 10 years old, when I fell in love with it. But I really didn't play organized basketball until I came up John E. at 12, So, that's when it really took off for me around about 12. But I was in love with about 9, 10 years old.
Okay, 9
Yeah.
10. Okay. At that age, 9 to 10, you say you came up Johnny around about 12.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first came to Johnny Howard?
Like you said, it was a little different, you know what I mean? Because you got to think, we lived up Poplar Grove, but John E. was up White Lock, you know what I mean? So you coming into a neighborhood that you're not from, meeting new people, getting to know everybody. So it was different, but guys like you, even the coaches like Rhodey, you know what I mean? Like they kind of made me feel welcome. So it was different, but a kind of a smooth transition, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay, so that was at the age of 12. After that, how long did you stay at Johnny Howard?
Yeah, so I played, was it one summer or 2 summers? And then I went to Mount Royal with Corbin. It's a funny story kind of behind that, how I ended up. My father wasn't really trying to move me. Um, but what happened was, it was when they made the transition. At first, it was like 9, 11, 10, 12, 11, 13, right? And so I was going to have to play. I was about to play. I was 12. I was about to play 10, 12. But then they switched and went to 11 under, 13 under, 15 under, and they switched how the age bracket went. And my whole team had went up and was playing up. Uh, and Mr. Corbett had reached out to my father, you feel me? And just was like, I see y'all ain't got no, what I had to play 13 under or something like that, because everybody moved up and played 15 under. Mike Harrison and all them played 15 under. So we ain't had no 13 under. So Court reached out to my father, and I went over there and played 13 under with Mount Royal. And my father wasn't with the whole hopping around, so I just stayed put after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was up until high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have we all have it, some of us have it, some of us don't. Most of us do have it. So we like to say, we like to ask, in your upbringing, who would you consider to be your sensei? So this is your Mr. Miyagi. This is the person that groomed you, that got you where you need to be, the coach that really put the time in with you.
So I don't really have one. You know what I mean? Because I actually played for two great coaches when I was coming up. So I gotta give it to Mr. Corbett, Mount Royal, and then Bucky Lee. You know what I'm saying? In high school, two different coaching styles, very disciplined both. You know what I mean? So I kind of took pieces from both guys. I feel like that's really what helped me, to be honest, because I had two great coaches, two of the best in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So not no one particular coach.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's cool. So from your playing days, moving on, you say you came with Bucky Lee, so that was high school. Um, when you were playing at Mount Royal, I assume you was playing, and so we all know you were playing AAU with Mount Royal as well, right? So approaching high school, how was you approaching high school?
It was, to be honest, it was different because it's two different roles. You know what I mean? AAU teams, normally you got two starting fives. You know what I'm saying? So it's more team, not really about self. You know what I mean? Even though I was a team guy, maybe my role was greater on my high school team as an individual. You know what I mean? Got to take more shots. More of an offensive role for me on my high school team. But then my AAU team, you know what I'm saying, I had to sacrifice a little bit of my individual stuff for the team, I say. Yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, and when I say approaching high school, in this next, man, I mean, as far as the recruitment, you know how it is. We may live in a certain part of town. We may have a zone. We may say we want to go. From what I know, you went to school on the other side of town.
Yeah, for middle school and high school, right? But so it's crazy because when I was leaving Roland Park, I was entertaining like private school situations. But at that time, reclassifying wasn't really the thing. And when I was about to go to McDonough, they told my father, like, all right, we want him to come, but if he come to McDonough, we gonna put him back in the 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that was like their thing to get everybody acclimated, everybody adjusted to their school. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to go into 8th grade again. You know what I mean? So I didn't apply to no other public high schools because I was entertaining the private schools situation. McDonough, Gibbons, Boys Latin, schools like that. And then, they start talking the money and all that. So, you know, I ended up in a situation where I ain't applied for no high schools. So they was about to send me to my zone school, which was Walbrook, because we lived up Poplar Grove. And right at the last minute, I was at AAU practice when they first did that Baltimore coalition, when they was combining the teams. We was practicing over Dunbar for that. And that's when Bucky Lee saw me. You feel me? He saw me that first practice. And the next practice, he came with a Mervo packet. You know what I mean? Asked me where I was going to school. I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And he got me in Mervo kind of at the last minute. And that's how I ended up over there.
Okay. Tell me how it was your first practicing with Bucky Lee.
Yeah, nah. That was Bucky Lee. Bucky Lee was a tough guy, man. You know what I mean? And my birthday in December, so I got a late birthday. I was young in high school, and I don't know if I was ready. You know what I mean? It was rough. It was rough, to say the least.
And that's varsity?
So I played JV my first year. He was the head JV coach. But like, yo, it was different, yo. Like the way he cut people from the team and stuff like that. A lot of these kids nowadays, I don't know if they be able to handle that. Like to the point, like he lined everybody up, like you. All right, y'all go ahead home, like flat out in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? My sophomore year, he had all of us, me, Toddy, Big Marcus, all the youngers on one team, put us on the court, and all of the juniors and seniors who didn't play the year before lined them up. Told them flat out, if y'all can't beat them, you can't help us. Sent them out there 5 at a time. Every time they lost, they had to go home. You know what I mean? So it was stuff like that I was bearing witness to. You know what I mean? Like, it just had you tighten up. Yeah.
Okay. Coach had a firing squad.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Firing squad. Let everybody go. Okay. You said that it was you, Toddy, Big Marcus. From what I remember, Big Marcus was one of the top players in the city.
Yeah.
Toddy was at Walbrook. What happened with that situation?
Nah, Toddy ain't go to Walbrook. Me and Toddy went up Mervo together as freshmen. Talking about Xavier Jackson.
Okay. Forgive me.
Sorry to put that man government name out like that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about a different Toddy. Okay, so that was your sophomore year. I think that might have been my junior year or my senior year. I'm not sure. What happened following that season?
My sophomore year.
You said that was the sophomore year when everybody got cut, right? Lined up.
No, yeah, that was my sophomore year.
Okay,
yeah.
So how did your sophomore year finish?
It was cool. You know, we still had Mo Hatton at the time. You know what I mean? You already know what he was about. So that was kind of our transition to varsity. You know what I mean? And it was a good developmental year for me. Playing for Bucky in that capacity, varsity. The city was thick. So I say it was a good year for us. You know what I mean? We won enough due to Mo. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple seniors, but then like me, Toddy, that was like our transition to varsity, so it was good. You know, I actually started kind of like in the beginning. Funny story, I got my starting spot took by my man Pop, but Pop was older, lockdown defender, you know what I'm saying? He probably deserved it, you know what I'm saying? Especially in that role. But I started for like the first like probably 8 games. You know what I mean? So that was good experience. And I finished in a lot of big games, like, you know what I mean, where it felt like I was a contributor, like big bump, like especially over Walbrook. We beat Walbrook at Walbrook. You know what I mean? I ain't start that game, but I came in. Probably had like 12, 13, something like that. Sophomore, big varsity game. So it was cool. Felt like it was a successful sophomore campaign.
You undercut me that season too.
I undercut
I'm
you.
like, damn, little bro. Damn. Okay. Yeah, you undercut me that year. I don't
On the
forget.
run through?
Yeah, nah, on the I don't know, just on the undercut. My legs gone, nigga.
Oh, damn, my bad.
Yeah. So what was it like playing with Mo? You talking about all Big East, NBA prospect,
Yeah.
pro, professional, play for however many years overseas or what have you. But the city he always been that.
Always.
So what was it like playing with him?
It was different, yo. Like I used to tell people this back then. Like, yo was so good. Sometimes you'll find yourself watching yo in the game. You know what I mean? And like you'll be doing something crazy and then pass it to you real quick and you ain't even ready because you was watching. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing that I took from him was how hard he worked. You know what I mean? Like yo really went hard. Um, and that's when I really started to understand the difference in the levels of everybody. You know what I mean? I knew what I was doing. I was around other people. I could see what they was doing. But then I get there in the flesh and see what he was doing. It was different. Like yo always did extra everything. You know what I mean? Like yo was lifting when it wasn't mandatory for us to lift. You know what I'm saying? Yo was really, really, really working. Yo was getting after it. That's the one thing that I noticed. That was one of the differences. Yeah.
Okay. So after Mo left, we had the transition when Mo was still there. Post Mo.
Yeah, that's when it was our turn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Big Mark.
Yeah.
When it was your time. When you had the keys to the car, take us through that time.
So it was fun. You know, I had the keys to the car, but I only had a set. You know what I'm saying? It was Big Marcus was our guy. And to be honest, it was different because me and Toddy moved up to varsity before Marcus did. You feel what I'm saying? And Yo had another year to develop as like being the guy. Like, you know what I mean? So when me and Toddy moved up that sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken, Marcus played one more year at JV. You feel me? But dominated that. And then when he came up to varsity, it was almost like Bucky Lee was grooming him, like, all right, come do the same thing you was doing down there. So it was like I only had a spare set, you know what I mean? And we knew that. Yo was the guy. You know what I'm saying? Everything went through him. But I definitely had like a significant role, like lead on one of the leaders on the team. You know what I'm saying? So it became more real for me during that junior year. And that was our last year with Bucky. You know, Bucky ended up passing away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we ain't had Yo our senior year. So I kind of feel like that kind of, you know what I mean, transition things a little bit too. You know what I mean? If we'd have had Yo our senior year, I think it would have went different. No disrespect to Coach Wade, great coach. You know what I mean? Coach Wade, and I told Yo this when I saw him, you know, when he made the transition up Maryville, you know, we was kind of a little like, yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up growing on us. And we ended up having a good relationship. And he was the reason why I was able to play at the college level. Because my whole career, I was off the ball, right? Because I was supposed to be known as a shooter. I was off the ball, shooter, you know what I'm saying? But then when he came up there, the first thing he did was put me on the ball, like as a point guard. And had he not done that, I'm not sure if I would have been able to play at the next level, as at my size, off the ball. So, yeah.
Okay. And that senior season, you said it was, at first it was a rocky transition. How did the season finish?
Solid. You know what I'm saying? Actually, we had a chance to play in the city championship. We ended up losing to Dunbar at Dunbar. But whoever won that game would have been in the city championship. So, it was solid. We didn't really make no whole lot of noise as far as going far in the states or nothing like that. But it was solid. You know what I mean? Good. It was good for me learning, playing the point, kind of running the show a little bit. It was solid.
Okay. So we would say high school career. Um, it would be what, A, B, C, D. What would you grade it?
I would give my high school career about a B. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was a player. I earned my respect, you know what I'm saying, as a high school player, but no real significant accolades, you know what I'm saying, individual accolades, nothing like that. Give myself a B. I put myself in position to go to school for free. You know what I mean?
Right, respect. So, post high school, um, I can let you tell a story. I know we got to play together for a little bit, so I was happy to do that. I missed the playing against you,
Yeah.
we ups and downs with the grades and with the red shirt and the this and the that. And at that time, you're an adult, right?
Yeah.
So let's go into your college career.
Yeah. So my college career, we was up BCCC, and it's funny really how that came about. Cause when I first went up there, I honestly ain't even really had no plans on hooping. You feel me? But my freshman year, I just went to tryouts really just to hoop, and then I ain't go back. You know what I'm saying? The next couple days, and Coach Raj was hitting me. You feel me? Recruiting me, trying to get me to come. I'm like, man, I don't know, cause I ain't really want to burn a year. I ain't know what I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? But so he finally, after probably like a week, he finally just was like, man, listen, man, I'm tired of keep calling you. You know what I mean? Like, is you gonna play or what? You feel me? He got it to where I ain't had no bill. You know what I mean? I don't know what he did. You know what I'm saying? He got it to where I ain't had no bill. So I hoop. You know what I mean? And freshman year was like mediocre. You know what I mean? Whole bunch of dudes failed off. You know how it would be up there. But that was like my transition to college, and it was actually perfect. You know what I mean? I played all the minutes. You know what I'm saying? Had the green light. You know what I mean? Great transition to college. So that really helped my development. And then my sophomore year, when we all got to play together, you know what I mean? I felt like I was ready. You know what I mean? And I felt like it showed for us. So that was the start of it. Pretty solid. Let me tell you the rest.
Yeah, keep on.
All right. So I think we had a decent year that year until the break. You know what I'm saying? When they do registration in the gym and we don't practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you think about it, we was 10-1 at the break. You know what I mean? Then we came back and lost a couple games. We ended up catching our groove back. You know what I mean? But I think we had a good year that year. And then after that, I went to Shepherd University in West Virginia on a scholarship. And it's crazy because that summer before I went down there, that's probably the hardest I worked on my game, like in my body as an individual. Me and Mookie worked out together. And I was ready for my junior year. I was fast, had everything working. I was still athletic. I could dunk. You know what I'm saying?
Ho.
Come on. Don't act like don't
hold up. I've been
think on it.
It's a long time, Shorty.
Think on it. All right, I'm gonna give you a flashback. I think it might have been Montgomery County, one of them, not Rockville, but the other one, and they had the big 6'10" dude, right? I forgot what we was running. I caught it on the left wing, hard ramp down the middle. Yo came over, cracked me. You don't remember none of that?
It went in?
I missed it, but he fouled me. But what I'm saying is, I definitely used to be able to dunk.
Okay. Hey man, I don't want to take it. Hey man, they can't erase what we were.
They can't erase what we were.
Can't erase what
we
were.
Can fact check that. After you can call. We can make a call. I promise you.
Hey man, I believe you. If you say it,
definitely.
But my memory get a little cloudy sometimes. Man.
Yeah. So I go down there and had a great summer. Went down there in the summer. They got me a job. Had an apartment. Was working out every day, hooping every day, looking sharp. But then preseason. That was my first real college preseason. It shot my body. I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? And I rolled my ankle real bad in the preseason. So I'm talking about real bad. So I had to sit for a little bit, and then I rolled my ankle real bad in the preseason, and then my man Thomas Carr, he was a point guard on that team as well. He assisting at Louisville now. He had to have surgery. He was the other point. He had to have surgery. Had like a sports hernia, and then we had a walk-on point guard. So I really kind of rushed to get back. So, and when I got back, my ankle really wasn't fully healed, but I kind of rushed to play because of the situation. So my junior year down there at Shepherd was like, you know what I mean? It could have been way better. It could have been way better. I had some good games, right, where I put it together. You know what I mean? Had good games, put up good numbers, but I would say that junior year was mediocre for me. Definitely could have been better. You know what I mean? And then we had a situation with our coach. You know what I mean? We wasn't seeing eye to eye, players, coaches. So a lot of us decided to leave after that junior year. And that's when I ended up in Pikeville, Kentucky, with Coach Wells. Me, Mookie, Paul, Frazier, and my man, and Gene. We was all down there together. And that was, solid senior year. But I don't really think that it went how it was supposed to.
And what was that school again?
Pikeville.
Pikeville.
Yep, University of Pikeville is what it's called now. That's where I coached at for a little bit too. But it ain't really go how it was supposed to go because when we got there was so much talent. Everything was getting ready to look good. But we had a couple guys that was ineligible the first half of the season, right? And so we had one team first half, and then when them dudes got eligible, we had some guys that was ineligible the second half. You know what I'm saying?
Crusher.
Yeah, so we never got the full team that we were supposed to have. So that was up and down. Senior year was up and down, but made some great relationships out there. So, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
As players, we work on the wins and the losses and those type of things. Outside of playing, so right now we just went over the scope of all your playing days, right?
Yeah.
So throughout your life, while you was playing, at least through your playing or even after your playing, what would you say was some of the wins and losses for you?
Outside of basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the wins, the relationships that you build, you know what I'm saying, along the journey. Just how, I think you could probably relate to this too. I think basketball, kind of help teach you about life too. You know what I'm saying? And how to face adversity. You know what I'm saying? So I say that the lessons I learned, the relationships I built, I was able to go to school for free. you know, I say those were some of the wins for sure. Just learning discipline, teamwork, what it take to really win on and off the court. I learned throughout my playing days, and then some of the losses, I say, I probably, especially early on in my career, probably should have been a little more confident in myself as an individual player. I really was unaware of how good I was as a player, for real. I guess that's why I coach the way I do now. Making sure guys really believe in themselves and ain't gotta look over their shoulder, worry about nothing. Like, yo, play free. You know what I mean? I probably should have been a little more confident in myself as a player. But I can't really say a whole lot of losses outside of on the court. You know what I mean? Everything was a positive for me, hooping.
Alrighty. So, what was your first coaching job?
First coaching job was at Pikeville, where I finished up playing. To be honest, I needed an extra year to finish my degree. Coach paid for it, and I was like a student assistant, right? So I say that was my first real time, real action coaching, and that was right after I finished playing. So like 07, 08. Yeah.
Okay. 07, 08. And what was your tenure there at Pikeville?
So it's crazy because I did that 07, 08. And after I graduated, I came back home, started working. But then coach had reached back out to me and had a spot open for me to come back. And I went back in 2010, 2011. And then from that point forward, I was coaching full time. That year when I went back, 2010, 2011, we won a national championship. And then I left and went to Pfeiffer University. That was NCAA Division II at the time. Did 1 year there. And then after that, I went to Central in the MEAC. That's Division I. And did a year there. So went from NAIA, NCAA Division II to NCAA Division I. Bang, 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 like back to back to back, like that. So that was pretty solid.
Okay. On your last stop at the Central, how did that go? How did that season?
We had a successful year. He was 15-1 in the MEAC. Only loss was, I'm geeking. 15-1 in the MEAC. We lost to Norfolk.
Okay.
But we lost to North Carolina A&T in the MEAC tournament. After we dominated them for the year. You know what I mean? But we had a pretty good year. We played some high level schools. We played Marquette that year at Marquette when Buzz was there. That year they made that run to the Elite Eight Final. I forgot Elite Eight or Final Four. Played them tough.
With Wade?
Huh?
That's when they had Wade?
Who? Wichita?
No, you said Marquette.
Marquette. No. They ain't had Dwayne Wade. I forgot the dudes that they had there. It was actually supposed to be a situation where they wasn't supposed to be that good, but they ended up putting together a great year, a great run in the tournament. I just remember Buzz was the head coach. I don't really remember their personnel. Too tough.
They might have had Jimmy Butler then.
No, it wasn't back then. That was when we played them. That was like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's, yeah.
Yeah, so we played Marquette that year. We played Wichita State when they had the dude Clee Anthony early. We actually played Wyoming. Darius Gilmore was out there at Wyoming. And they had a big dude on their team named Leonard Washington, monster, and they had Larry Nance Jr.
Mm.
Yep, he was on that team. Um, so yeah, that was a great experience. It was a great experience.
Okay. And so we got some Division 2, Division 1, NIA.
NAIA, yep.
We got some. So now we back. Well, you've been back home helping the kids, but now we back home in the high school rankings.
Yeah.
Okay, so you going up against Coach Tree, Coach Dansler, some of the top dogs,
Yeah.
right? You're coming back into the race. But prior to this year, and we want to congratulate you for on, receiving the nod for the head coach at Poly. We've been seeing you doing some great things with AAU.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you've been holding it down for Team Thrill for a while. Like I said, I've been seeing do great things with those guys. That's the community. They also bring in guys from outside of the community. They, been able to make a reputation for themselves. So they can bring in some of the top guys, some of the top kids from around. So, they able to come through, you know, Team Thrill, and you able to coach them and work with them and help them and guide them and mentor them. Tell us what it's like to be able to coach and just be able to be in, the presence of some of these guys. Some of the guys that you coach, like I said, these some of the top. Like I said, I seen, some success that you had recently, and I believe winning the 17U national.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you for that.
Thank you.
That was just maybe a year or two ago, right?
Maybe 3 years ago.
Maybe 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
But I remember that run. It was all over social media, and I was proud of you. I want to go ahead and let you know that I probably let you know amongst the passing, but
Yeah.
got you here while everybody's here, man. I'm definitely proud of you. The things you're doing. But working with these guys, right? Some of the top dogs, right? How is it? Tell us how you approach the mindset, because some of the top guys can act a certain way.
Yeah, no doubt. But to be honest with you, I can say this and really mean it. The guys that I've had the pleasure of coaching, that I've been around, they ain't like what you think they might be like. You know what I'm saying? How the top guys can act. You know what I mean? All humble, all hardworking, great kids. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really experienced that. You know, um, and the way I approach it, this generation of kids, they don't really be trying to hear about how you did it. Like, how it be like, man, when we was playing, it was like this, man. I don't approach it that way. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I get off that. I really approach it from a sense of I've once coached at the level that you trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? Because they all trying to earn scholarships to go play at the next level. And I've coached at all the different levels except JUCO. You know what I mean? So I kind of know what it takes in order for you to get there. You know what I mean? So I approach it like that. Like, I have something to offer you. I have some knowledge to pass on to you that could be useful. You know what I'm saying? You can take it or not. You know what I mean? And most of the time, everybody that I've been around, they listen. You know what I mean? They listen. So it's been cool. It's been a great experience.
What makes a player coachable for Coach Donald?
You willing to listen. You willing to listen. We not pouting when we being held accountable, right? You're able to be held accountable, and you take accountability. You know what I mean, for your actions. And you gotta have some sort of toughness to you. For me, you know what I mean. Like, you gotta have a little bit of dog in you. For me, you know what I'm saying. If you ain't no, you ain't got that toughness, you ain't got that dog in you a little bit, we'll have a tough time. So
Okay. Like we said, probably the majority of the kids that you do coach come from Baltimore. So being in the city playing, just being around, however you want to call it, we hear the term Baltimore grit. When you hear that term, what does it mean to you?
everything, like that's what we known for throughout the nation. You know what I'm saying? When coaches come to our area to recruit, they expect a certain type of kid. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have that grit, you know, or it's like you watering down the reputation. Like it's everything. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that they expect. At least when they come, we know we gonna be tough. You know he gonna be gritty. That's everything.
What does it mean for a player to have a heart of a champion?
Mm, that's actually a good question. Um, for me, uh, let's just take basketball aside too. You feel what I'm saying? Just being able to sacrifice a little bit of yourself, a little bit of your individual accolades or whatever the case may be for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's the heart of a champion. You know what I'm saying? Willing to sacrifice a little bit of yourself for the greater good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What role? What role would you say faith plays into the way how you approach your thing, your coaching, and your whole technique of just working with the children?
Faith, meaning like in a higher power. It plays a large role. You know what I'm saying? Um, Especially I can relate it to um, me stepping into this new space with Poly. You know what I'm saying? We had a great example. From the guys that were there previously before COVID, Coach Sam and them. You got a great example of what it could be, what it could grow to. You know what I'm saying? And starting out, everybody remember that, but they don't remember how it started. They only remember the end and the success, all the success they had, but they don't remember how it started out. And right now, Poly's program was in a situation where it's back to the beginning, where you got to start all the way over. You know what I'm saying? And it when I've seen that and the success that they had and what I'm experiencing, you know what I'm saying? It's just like sometimes it could be a little discouraging. You know what I mean? So you gotta have a little bit of faith. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta believe in the process of things to know that this ain't the end. This ain't the end all be all, right? Just gonna take a little bit of work. You know what I mean? Just put the work in, put the time in, put the grind in, and you gotta have faith that it's gonna grow to what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What would you say is the biggest thing that helps shape your coaching philosophy?
Uh, it's honestly it's centered around toughness. You know what I mean? Like we talked about that Baltimore grit. But then I also take from all of the great coaches that I played for. You know what I'm saying? And mix all of them together. And then the cherry on top is making sure that I am the coach that I needed when I was a player. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What kind of coach was that?
Somebody who breathes confidence. You know what I'm saying? Into their guys. Um, I feel like our coaches, the coaches we played for, old school. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Cause that's what bred the toughness in us. You know what I'm saying? That old school, the way they coach, discipline. You know what I'm saying? Um, but you need that also sprinkled in with a little bit of confidence sprinkled on top. Cause
Green light.
yeah, like I can use Bucky Lee for an example. God rest his soul. He was hard to play for. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, especially I played for him young. You know what I mean? Um, it was sometimes you question whether or not, like, yo, do this man even really care? Like, you feel what I'm saying? But every now and then, he showed flashes. You know what I'm saying? That he cared and that he was really teaching. If you had more moments of that, you know what I mean, you might have been able to get a little more out of me. You know what I mean? I just know that for me. Like, so that's why I make sure I'm that coach to make sure they know, like, yeah, I'm hard on you, but I got your back too. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So just a little sprinkle of a little bit less of the militant,
Yeah.
and a little bit more of the Dan Tony.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It gotta have that balance. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have that balance.
So that's for the new age players, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So does the old school way still work?
I'm gonna say this. You gotta find the balance. You know, you gotta adapt with the times. So I don't know. I think it's how we say some players we'll call them a throwback. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, shout out Ace Baldwin. When people talk about Ace Baldwin, they say, yeah, yo, like a throwback Baltimore guy. You know what I'm saying? It's some people who it don't matter. They can play in all the eras because they wired a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? But, it's so many factors that play a role in how these kids think. I'm not sure if the old school way works 100%. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make it a little futuristic. You know what I mean? You gotta sprinkle it in there for them.
Sure. Sure. So, you said again that you won the championship about 3 years ago. If I can recall, around that time, you guys was working with, or young fella Derek Queen was playing with y'all.
Yes, sir.
Young guys in the NBAs, making the whole Baltimore proud. Possibly could be the NBA Rookie of the Year this year. Tell us what it's been like, working with that young man.
I mean, he one of them dudes. He a generational talent. You know what I'm saying? Like guys like him don't come around that often. The thing that I loved about him the most is even when he wasn't that good that he is now, he always thought he was. You know what I'm saying? So he approached the game with a certain level of confidence that really can't be taught, you know. But Derek Queen was a pleasure to coach. You know what I mean? Like, great kid. Great kid.
So, about a few days ago, he had to battle against Jokic, right?
Yeah.
So they compare him to Jokic. He about the same size, some of the skill set. He can pass, he can shoot. He had a pretty good, game against him. It was pretty even. I gotta get the stats. I have them. By the time we edit this.
Yeah.
But the young man fared well against an NBA champion.
Yeah.
We know this guy's 300, 400, 500 pounds, however much big Joker is. All-star consistently, one of the best players in the world. The young man went in there and handled his business. Um, what do you see for the future for that young fella?
You know, one of the things I just took from what you just said, like he was going against one of the best players in the world, right? You know, and I've had, I say debates. I don't want to call it an argument, but I've had debates with a lot of people about Derek Queen. I think he one of the best players in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I think he gonna be fine. Um, I think he the best player in his class, no doubt. That's my professional opinion, not just because he played for me and I know him, but my evaluation, I think he the best player in his class. So I think he gonna be fine.
When we say best player in his class, he came in class with another young man that everybody's talking about, Cooper Rush.
Cooper Flag.
Man, damn.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
So, for the young fella, you think that, because, we got politics, and right now, I believe Queen got better numbers, but, he may be on a better team. That can go up and down, but like you said, he's the best player in his class, in your opinion.
In my opinion.
Okay.
You know, I say, Cooper Flag is a really good player. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that he is everything that they say about him. You know what I'm saying? He's good. But I seen with my own eyes. I watched them play for Mount Verdi together. You know what I mean? And I'm just basically going off of my evaluation. You know what I mean? I'm taking out the you can jump high and the athleticism. I'm talking about how you impact the game. I think Derek is a 6'10" post that could facilitate your offense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're different. And I said this a long time ago. We ain't seen nothing like Derek Queen since Melo. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
I agree. The young man special. I just can't wait to see him, keep climbing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see, how this year finishes out for him. So I hope he had, the rookie of the year. We pulling for him. So shout out to Derek Queen. We pulling for you to get that rookie of the year. In dealing with some of the players, how do you motivate them through their off the court issues?
Yeah.
How do you keep them motivated? We know, Baltimore City, we got a lot of different issues. We got drugs, we got violence, we got gangs, we got everything.
Yeah.
They at the age the players that you have.
Yeah.
They having sex, they got children.
Yeah.
So how do you help them through these issues?
To be honest with you, it take a village. You know what I'm saying? Just like, everybody say that. It take a village. And really just kind of keeping them motivated, especially if they got aspirations, like, for the next level. And it's more so, everybody can say, like, yeah, I want to go to college. I want to play D1. I want to go to the NBA. I'm trying to do this. If those are really legitimately your goals, then it should be easy to motivate you. Like, it should show in your actions. Because, all of that negative stuff that they got at their disposal, if you really try and make it, you might dip and dab, but it's easy to redirect you if you really try and make it. So it take a little bit of everybody, the village, kind of, letting them know. But then it also take a little bit on their behalf too. They gotta put their best foot forward. It's just distractions for everybody out here. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
So,
what would you say is the biggest misconception about coaching?
I say this, that you have to have played in order for you to be a good coach. I say that's the biggest misconception, in my opinion.
Why is that?
Only because, take for instance, one of the best coaches I ever been around, Mr. Corbin, played football. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what level he played basketball at, but he's one of the best coaches that I've ever been around in this town. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, I don't think that you have to have played at a high level in order for you to be a good coach.
Okay, so that's on any level? No, not at all. Not rec. Not if you never stepped on the basketball court. You think you can? I mean, when you say be a coach, we mean be a good coach, not just get a come on volunteer. We mean, you know.
So, I mean, and you know, I say, I guess your experience as
Go your experience as a player.
yeah, I think your experience as a player, you know, can help shape your coaching philosophy, who you are as a coach, you know, but I don't think you have to have been a player in order for you to be a good coach. If you have knowledge of the game, I can give you an example, right? I've never played volleyball a day in my life at no level outside of PE when they go over volleyball in gym class, right? Now, I mean, it's just middle school, but I took a group of middle school girls volleyball players and I used fundamental coaching principles, right, that are universal, that you know what I mean, and we went all the way to the championship game, undefeated. Us in the championship, but I ain't never played volleyball a day in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think you have to have played the game to be a good coach. I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Who would you say affects winning the most? The player or the coach?
Players. Like, I'm one of them people. I mean, I sometimes think coaches get too much credit as coaches. This is my opinion. You know what I mean? I think the players impact winning the most. You know, you can create your culture. You know what I'm saying? That helps, right? Good coach creates good culture. Put your plays in. This is how we gonna do this. This is how we gonna do that. But ultimately, the players gotta go out there and perform. You know what I mean? And you can go probably find new players that's gonna perform what you want to do. You know, but ultimately, the players have to perform. You know, so I give it to the players. I ain't taking all that credit.
So you would say to the argument of the Belichick to Tom Brady, if they don't have Tom Brady, they don't win.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now, Belichick instills the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we gonna do it. That helps. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, Tom Brady was the one out there throwing them lasers. Think about the game when they came back and beat the Falcons, when they was getting spanked. Tom Brady.
Definitely. So, what's a phrase or a motto that you use from time to time when you try to get your guys going?
Like, you know, people coined it, right? But when we won the championship 17U, when I looked, it was a genuine moment, right? And I said, like, I'm on 10. You feel what I'm saying?
I need you to be on 10.
I need you to be on 10. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So I say, you know, that's something that I used to use, right? But now, with my current team, when it's time, I'll be like, I'm in that mode. Because they can relate to that. I forgot whose song it is. It's a song out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in that mode.
I'm in that mode. You feel what I'm saying? So now, that was the quote on my practice plan today. You know what I mean? Because we getting ready for the scrimmage tomorrow. So I'm like, what's the quote for this? Like, I'm in that mode. You know what I'm saying? It automatically, you know what I mean? Practice was a little intense. So I've been using that right there. I don't really have one thing. You know?
Okay. Okay. So, what is, you just getting a job over at Poly. Where do you see yourself and what do you see the program in the next 5 years?
It's a good question. Um, Very simple. City champ, state champ. You know what I mean? That's simple. Keep it local first. City champ, state champ.
Is it I say at the next 5, is it gonna be in 5? Is it gonna be in 2? Do we got enough to fight right now? Enough pit bulls? Am I gonna need one student, 2 players?
That's a good question. Like I have to, gotta get a little deep in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? To be able to see, what the region is like. You know what I mean? I ain't been in the mix long enough. You know what I mean? I can look at my team and I can see that we're a step closer. You know what I mean? But I gotta see what a late playoff run look like first before I can speak on that. I gotta experience it. I got a few guys that's built for it though. You know what I mean? They ready. But in order for me to guide them the right way, I need a little more experience too on that late run. So I don't know when it's gonna be. But you said within 5 years, we could probably get that done within 5.
Within 5.
I feel, you know what I mean, with some work and the way we try to work within 5. But I don't know.
They're gonna be back to the top in 5. Within 5.
Within 5.
Within 5. Okay. What's gonna be, with you being a new coach? What's gonna be the foundation and the culture of your program over at Poly?
Family, man. You know what I'm saying? I think family is everything. You got some people, everybody come from different backgrounds, different family situations. But at least they're gonna be able to feel like if they played for Poly when I was there, they had family. They're part of a family, forever. So, I say that's definitely gonna be the foundation of our culture. Family, toughness, discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in no trouble, but I got to a little bit. Marlboro alumni.
Yeah.
Marlboro alumni. One day, one of these sweet days, would you want to see yourself with a Mustangs back in the Mustang colors?
I say this, right? Before I was the coach at Poly High School, coaching AAU, I always used to say, man, if I would coach anywhere high school wise, it would be Maryville. I've always said that. But just the landscape of how Baltimore City public school basketball is now, and what this generation of kids are looking for when they're selecting their high schools, it would have to be a lot of changes made. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to make that move. But you know how it go. Like it's a different sense of love, or even like I went to Maryville. You know what I'm saying? So it hit a little different. If I was the coach there, it would hit a little different. But Poly right now, high level academics. You know what I'm saying? You know, it provides an opportunity for our kids, because everybody can't go to private school. Their parents can't afford to pay for them to go to private school. You know what I mean? So, Poly is where it's at right now. You know what I mean? they can get that high quality, high level education for free. You know what I mean? So, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
So, like you know, this being your first year, you've been able to go through the football season now. What has it been like going through this, experiencing this city poly rivalry, this foolishness that the rest of us don't care nothing about?
Yo, it's crazy, right? And you know how like you don't care nothing about it, right? But it's actually one of the best rivalries that I've ever been a part of. Like flat out, it's one of the best rivalries that I've been a part of, yo. And I see why it's like Poly or City, like you know what I mean, how they're viewed in our town. And no disrespect that I went to a different school, but we have never experienced this. You know what I'm saying? We don't know nothing about what they got with this right here. You know what I mean? It's different and it's real.
Real.
It's real. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. I love it.
In high school sports?
Yes, yes. And I coached at North Carolina Central, right? Who has a rivalry with North Carolina A&T, the Aggie Eagle Classic, right? Historically black institutions. That's an amazing rivalry. It's big time. It's humongous. But I ain't never seen nothing like Poly City. Yeah, and you know, you guys say Poly first. That's what they said. That's what they said.
You gotta say Poly first.
You gotta say Poly City.
Okay.
And people who went to City, they would say different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? City Poly.
What about the people who didn't go?
People who didn't go, I guess you say what you want, but you're gonna get corrected. Funny thing, right? When I interviewed for the job, I brought the rivalry up, right? And I was talking about it, and I said City Poly. And everybody that was in there on the panel was like, what? What'd you say? Because they all went to Poly. And I looked, I was like, Poly City? And they was like, oh, all right, okay. You know, so now that I'm the coach at Poly, I gotta train myself to say Poly City.
Please, man.
Yeah.
Please, man. A whole panel?
Yeah, they was on me.
We can't do nothing with a whole panel, bro. Please.
But it's one of the best, it's probably the best rivalry our town has to offer.
Okay. All right, Coach, tell us about your most important comeback.
The most important comeback. So it's crazy. I would say it would have to be. I was coaching 16U. We was playing the New Jersey Shore Shots. Their head coach is Mike Rice, the one used to coach at Rutgers. On the Under Armour circuit, you get 3 timeouts for the whole game, no more than that. So your team gotta be able to like figure it out on the fly. Can't just burn all your timeouts to kind of get things back in order. So we started the game off 20-0, right? And I know that everybody around was like, yo, you need a timeout. You need to call a timeout. Started off 20-0. Once it got to 20-0, I finally called a timeout. You feel what I'm saying? Got them together, this, that, and the third. And we walked them down and took the lead by halftime. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that was one of probably the best comebacks that we had was solely because of the situation. You know what I'm saying? And we practice like this. And I talk about it all the time. How, we only get 3 timeouts. I can't burn all the timeouts to get y'all to figure it out. Right? You gotta be able to figure it out in the moment, on the fly. Like we practice for this. You know what I'm saying? And they responded. You know what I mean? So that was probably one of the best comebacks that I can think of right offhand.
Okay. Try that one. Which one sounds better?
The one I need to tell probably the best one.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
All right. So I say one of the best comebacks I've been a part of was on the 15U championship run. Right. We was playing B Mays Elite. And we was down like 15. And B Mays was real good. Had a player on my team by the name of Carlos Alexander. Actually from up White Lock. Little left hand, Yogi Boogie. Yo was playing terrible. We down 15. And this is to go to the championship. This is the Final Four. So Los come down, yo turn that thing over 3 times in a row, right? 4th time he turned it over, walk back on defense in the Final Four. So I subbed yo out, subbed him out. He walking to the sideline, yo like, man, I don't even care. I say, oh yeah, say less. You done for the day, right? So yo down there sitting on the bench. We cannot get over that hump 15. We down 15. So it's starting to get, you know what I'm saying, crunch time. So I go down there and pull you up like, yo, come here, yo. You know what I mean? Like, what you want me say? What you want me to do, yo? We need you. You feel what I'm saying? And I say, yo, but when you playing like this, when you in this mode, your attitude like this, you not that good, yo. But when you locked in, when you focus, you're a bad boy. I say, yo, we down 15 points. This is to go to the championship. If we lose, we done. And it's going to be your fault. I said, how you feel about that? And I punched him in his chest. You know what I'm saying? And I said, yo, get ready to play, yo. Let me know when you ready. So we go back to the game. He look up like, Coach, I'm ready. And I promise you, bro, yo checked in that game. And yo went on a 15-0 run by itself. Yo was responsible for every basket moving forward. Like N1, trade, dime, finish. We come back, take the lead, win the game, go to the championship. Flat out. That was probably one of the best comebacks we had. And that was crazy.
Yeah, man. Lil Los, man. Shout out to Lil Los.
Yeah.
Wherever he at out there. Last time I heard, man. Free Lil Los.
Yeah. No, yo, people scared of Los. They were scared of Los.
Yeah, they was. Yeah, they was. Yeah, they was. What was your proudest moment as a coach?
I say when we won the national championship when I was at Pikeville. Really because everybody looked at that team and they probably wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying, bet money that we went out there and won that thing. I never forget, before we left, it was some, you know, alumni, you know what I mean, that I was cool with that played before I played there, before we left, because we played Oklahoma Baptist the first round of the national tournament, and they was defending national champs. They had a big 6'10" dude transfer from Wake Forest. They was like that. So before we left, I was sitting at the bar down there, and they like, yeah, bro, we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all in a couple days. Like, we was ready to go down there, lose the first round, and come back. That's how everybody was looking at us. You know what I'm saying? And so we went down there to watch how that whole thing just came together and watch how all the players bought in at the right moment. Like, that was probably one of the most special things I ever been a part of. Like, flat out, hands down, ain't nothing come close. Won the 17U national championship, you know what I mean, on the circuit, but that joint right there, it just hit a little different.
That was grown, man.
Yeah, it was different. That was different. It's probably one of my greatest moments as a coach, hands down. It's not even close. The way I felt after the game, like, different.
So this the thing we like to say. We say, I do anything to beat these SOBs. So this a team that you hated playing, coming up on the circuit, or you ain't been in anything yet on the other shit. But I would do anything to beat these SOBs, right? So I'm gonna ask you the question, then you gonna say it. You gonna say, I would do anything to beat. You gonna point at the camera. I would do anything to beat these SOBs, and then you say the team.
All right, that's easy.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Coach. So moving on, we got a segment. I would do anything to beat these SOBs. So go ahead, let us know, which SOBs, get under your skin the most. You can't stand them. You got the rivalry with them. Every time you see them, it's on.
Yeah. If I had to say, I would do anything to beat City, right? And it's not because I don't like them. It's not because they get under my skin. It's just because of the rivalry. Poly City. You know what I mean? Do anything to beat City right now. And they've been dominating us so far, so gotta get them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Coach Donald, when it's all said and done, when you hang up your whistle, what would you want your legacy to be?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. I guess to be honest with you, bro, I ain't really chasing a legacy with basketball or coaching. It's more so when I hang my whistle up, I just want everybody to be like, yeah, yo was solid. You know what I'm saying? Yo was a good dude. Cared about the kids, helped kids get to the next level, helped a lot of people. It's about it for me. You know what I mean? I will say the one thing I am chasing. So we talked about the 17U championship. That wasn't my first one, right? So we won at 15 under, right? Went undefeated on the circuit, won the whole thing. Then I won at 17U, right? Then I helped out with 16U. We won a championship at 16U, right? Went undefeated. So I got 15U, 16U, 17U, right? I actually have a national championship at the college level, right? So you got AAU, 15U, 16U, 17U, college national championship. Now I want to win state championship at the high school level, just to say I won at every level.
You chasing it, baby.
So that's probably, if I'm chasing something, it's probably that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bro. You in the fight now, so that's not that far-fetched of a goal.
It's not. It's obtainable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we're gonna be pulling for you. We're gonna be praying for you. We're gonna continue to support you, and we want you to continue to be blessed, man. Thanks again, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me, bro.
All right.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Man, hold up. Give me 2 seconds, and then I'm getting you out of here.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, shorty. On behalf of the Crew Channel and the Coach's Corner, we'd like to present Coach Donald with his roses and also his gold whistle. Appreciate you.
Oh, man, appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.